entire cloud. Okay, so today we will be discussing about a new topic. So in the last class, I hope you have got all the clarifications which you want. And from today onwards, we are going to start cloud computing. Before I go into the cloud computing, I just want to share you some of the basics of cloud. So many people will think that what the people are going to think. So what are the what I can say speculations are there about the cloud? So if you want to understand that, so first of all, what I am going to do here is first, what is meant by cloud? So you need to understand what is cloud, and then we will be going into the main concept of what are the different types of clouds that we are having. Among those different types of clouds, AWS will comes under which category? Not only AWS, Azure, GCP, remaining all clouds will comes under which category? What are the different types of clouds that we are having that you are going to learn? And then next one is, first of all, before learning the cloud, you need to understand. So what make us to move towards cloud? What is the necessity? What is the need for cloud? See, necessity and need is the main thing for introducing any technology into the IT world. I will not say that without need, we are not going to introduce anything. So in the same manner, there is some necessity or else there is something we need. So depending upon that need only, the cloud has introduced into the IT world. So before you understand what is cloud, you need to understand how IT is functionality or else how IT is functional. So how IT industry is functional before cloud. See, now the cloud, whatever the cloud that we are discussing that AWS or Azure or GCP from past somewhere like 8-9 years. But before that, what is that? Especially after COVID only, there is so much scope. If you can see, there is a huge scope for cloud. But before COVID, yes, of course, there is cloud, but still the peoples who are accessing or else who are working on the cloud is very less. But nowadays, when you see here, each and every company is requesting the candidates or else the employees to have a knowledge on cloud computing. So what is this cloud and why we need to understand this cloud? So what is there before cloud? So if you understand cloud, if you want to understand cloud, first of all, you need to understand what is meant by on-prem, and before that, you need to understand data center. So if you understand all these things, then you can slowly get into the cloud computing. So today's concept is, first of all, we need to understand today what is our agenda, what are the things that we need to cover. So today we need to cover about understanding on-premises data centers, and then what is meant by cloud and why we need to go for cloud. And finally, in the last, there will be Q&A. I will give you time for time about 10 minutes to complete to ask your questions, and I will provide the answers for those questions. And reminding about the course details will be provided again. So in the last class also, I have provided the course details in the same manner. At the end of the session, before 10 minutes, I am going to discuss about the course. Okay. So here we need to understand what is meant by on-prem. So whenever before this cloud computing was introduced, how IT industry was there. So of course, IT industry is there from past what I can say, some 5-6 decades onwards. You are having the IT industry, but still, what is the main prominent role of IT industry and why the IT industry has make it mark into the public? So that all the things that you need to understand. So for example, let me take an IT service company. What is an IT service company? Did anybody know about this? Why? Because there are so many employees in this session. I just want to ask you, what is meant by an IT service company?
The company which provides services to clients. Right?
Yeah. So IT service company. So there will be an IT service company here. The best examples what you can provide. So your TCS, okay, Wipro. So I am talking about Indian-based companies and some of the multinational companies also. And what I can say, Microsoft will also come under the IT based only. Infosys, like this, there are so many different types of IT service companies out there. But these are some of the IT service companies. Just for example, I don't know, so many people will be trying to write some bank exams. So who are attending this session, You might be writing some bank exams previously before you want to learn cloud, or else you want to get into the IT world. Some people may be trying something somewhere like banking sector also. So whenever you are writing this bank exams, you will see a you will see the digitalized question paper. Nowadays, previously we used to have the written question paper. Nowadays, OMR sheets like that, but nowadays everything has been changed. Now it is completely digitalized. Now, whoever are trying to write the banking exam, they have to provide their hall ticket, and a software will be displayed, an application will be open, and you need to mark your question, you need to mark your answers in that particular application. So who will develop that application? For example, whatever the bank exam that you are writing, for example, there is an SBI bank. So many people are preparing for IBBS also, but anyways, for example, there is a bank called as SBI. Just try to understand this. SBI is there, and they want to conduct an exam. They want to conduct an exam. So that to be in the digitalized format, they want to conduct the exam. So I am just taking an example. Now you can take your internet banking application, or else your e-commerce web applications, any application you can take it out. So for example, there is an SBI bank exam application is there. Now what is going to happen? This SBI, whatever the SBI bank is that they cannot develop their application. They can develop the questions, but they cannot develop. They can develop the question paper and submit it to the concerned teams. So they cannot develop the question paper softwares, and they cannot deploy the servers. They cannot maintain the servers. The SBI bank cannot maintain the server. So what what is going to happen? The concerned person from the SBI will approach to a IT service company. By approaching to the IT service company, they will be having an SLA, service level agreements. They will do an agreement with the IT service company, and they will ask the IT service company that we want a particular application that help our candidates to write their exams. So what IT service company will do? So they will analyze the user requirement. So first of all, they will understand, research and development will be done. So first of all, they will research for what is the user requirement, and after researching that, what they are going to do, they are going to start developing the application. So the development team will be involved in the development of application. They will develop the application. So with the help of some languages like Go, Python, Java, Node.js, Angular, so like that, there are so many different types of languages that are there. So most probably the developers will understand that languages, and depending upon the user requirement, they will develop an application. Once they have developed the application will be progressed towards the testing phase. So here the testing people comes into the picture. So they will do some bug testing, they will do some code analysis, like that. There are several types of testings will be there. Smoke testing, each and everything will be done. Once the application is successfully passed all the tests, and then this application will be progressed towards the production environment. So up to now, whatever the phase that application is going through, that phase is called as a development phase. So research, development, and testing, this completely comes under the development phase. Once the application is successfully progressed towards the production environment, okay, here comes the operations team or else administration team. So there will be some problems. So the developers will develop their application on their laptops, or else they will select some of the servers where the version will be very high. So they will develop the application depending upon the Java version 17, but the production environment, or else in the live environment in the sense, whenever the application is made available for the clients or customers. For example, so this is the production application. For example, if I go back to sbi.com, if I give this, so an application will be displayed in front of me. So this is what the end user is able to access the application. Then that is sbibank.com. I will go with sbibank.com. When I go with this, automatically an application will be displayed in front of me. This is the production application. Okay, so this is my production application. Now this application will be configured in the production environment, or else in the live environment. So before I get this application, before the end user get this application, what is going to happen here? So the testing phase will be done here. What is going to happen in the development environment? In the development environment, research, development, and test. These are the things will be done. Once it is done, then automatically the application will be migrated towards deploying in the servers or else installing in the servers. So I will simply call it as ops or also operation team. Then here, what is going to happen directly, the application will not be sent into the production environment. First, they will do UAT, user acceptance testing. Okay, so they will create or else they will create an environment in the client environment in the bank environment. They will test the application in the whether the application is satisfied each and every need of the customer or client or not. So they will check out that with the help of UAT testing. Once UAT testing is passed, then it will be moved into the production. There are in between that there are some another tests also, but now the final one is production environment. So here you need to understand the basic concept. So where the application will be deployed, where the application will be created. Obviously, the application will be installed in the servers. The application will be installed inside the servers. So when the application is running on the servers, so here what is happening, the servers are not like our computers. They are not the components like our computers. There are huge resources inside the servers. We can see a huge amount of resources like CPU, RAM, hard disk, or also hard disk will not be there. Sometimes it will be fetching the data from the network resources. I will show you of all those things. But anyways, there will be servers. These servers are responsible for deploying the application. Once the application is deployed on the servers, the application will be coming into the live, and through internet the users can access the application. So this is what the background process which is going to happen. Now what will be happening? So here what is going to happen, whatever the servers that you have selected here, those servers are not what I can say, not economical. They are not cheaper in cost. They are very, very costly. If you want to purchase a single server, the single server base will be basic cost will be some 3 lakhs to 4 lakhs rupees, depending upon the manufacturer, depending upon the requirement of the users, depending upon the resources. The server cost will be immensely increasing. So we cannot use a small resources, a small capacity server. So in the good olden days, what is happening? So when you go back to 20 years, like 2020, 2000 to 2005, in between these timeline, when you go back, so we used to have only a servers, only physical servers. So the physical servers will be there, and inside this physical server, there will be huge amount of resources will be there, like some 4 CPU with the high and the CPUs which are used in the servers are not the CPUs that are equivalent to our laptop or computer CPUs. The CPUs that we use in the servers are Intel. If you come to the Intel Itanium processors, like there are so many different types of processors which are only designed for the server purposes. So likewise, we will have CPU, and somewhere like 128 to 1 TB of RAM will also be available for the servers. 128 GB of RAM is there. And hard disk space, actually some of the servers will have the internal hard disk, internal storage will be there. But majority number of the servers will be having storage from the network. Those are called as SAN storages. We will call them as a SAN storage area network. From the SAN boxes, the servers will get the whatever the space that are required by your applications. So the entire space capacity will be coming from the SAN storage. So this is what happening in the backend. Now, see, in a single server, we can run a single application. If you see here, in a single server, we can run a single application. Why? Because we don't know. Sometimes the application will be, the load on the application may be increasing and the load on the application may be decreasing. So due to that reason, what we have to do, we have to run the application, one application in a single server. So, but there is a problem with this. The problem is whatever the resources that you are seeing here, this much amount of resources are not necessary for a single application. So we in general, what we need to have, for example, the highest will be 2 CPU and somewhere like some 16 GB of RAM is more than enough for running a single application, just supposing. What about the remaining capacity? It will be wasted. So to overcome all these problems, what are the problems? Actually, what are the problems that are facing by the physical servers, like misuse of resource capacity, and only a single application can be deployed. Suddenly, if there is an increment in the load, what we have to do? So to overcome all these problems, to overcome all this, whatever the problems that just I have said you, to whatever the limitations that I have said you, to overcome all these limitations. So in the IT world, there is a new technology that is introduced that is called as virtualization. So whatever the technology that is introduced into the IT world, that is called as virtualization. Okay. So due to this virtualization, there is a huge, tremendous changes in the IT world. So everything has been changed. Now the physical servers usage is optimized. So by using a single physical server, we can run multiple applications. How? Inside a physical server, for example, if you take the previous diagram, so we are having 4 CPU, 128 GB of RAM. So what is going to happen? This physical server is now virtually divided into small servers. So we can, so on a physical server, we can run Linux machine. For example, I am having a server. So if I don't have the virtualization, I can run only a single operating system on my physical server. Either I can go for Windows or else I can go for Linux. You can ask me, sir, there is dual operating system. At a time, if I want to run 2 operating systems at a time, if I want to run Linux and as well as Windows simultaneously, it is not possible with the dual operating system. Okay. So what I want to do, so I want, for example, there are 2 applications which has to be run simultaneously. And for one application I have created or else I install on Windows machine, and the other application is installed on the Linux machine. So if the case is like this, what has to be done? So for this type of applications, I have to utilize 2 different, what I can say, 2 different computers or 2 different servers. So another server I have to purchase, which is the waste of cost to overcome all these limitations. The first one is misuse of resources, and the second one is operating system limitations. So to overcome all this problem, we have a new technology called as virtualization. What will be happening with this virtualization? So what you can do here is, by using virtualization technology, you can create the virtual servers. You can create the virtual servers. This virtualization has changed the entire face of your IT industry. Whatever the EC2 instances that you are creating, or else when you go to the Azure, whatever the virtual missions that you are creating, so each and every server is not a physical server. Whatever the instances or servers you are creating in the cloud environment, each and every server is a virtual mission, not the physical missions, whatever you are seeing. So inside this physical mission, what I can do, I can create my own virtual servers. So this is my VM1. Okay. And I can have my another virtual mission, that is VM2, like this. Okay. So each and every virtual mission will have its own. So will have its own what I can say, own resources like CPU, memory, and hard disk. Okay, one VM will not communicate with the another VM. It will be isolated. If you want, you have to establish the connection between 2 VMs. So if the user requirement is there, then we can establish the communication between these 2 VMs. So like this, what is going to happen? Virtualization help the IT industry a lot. So this virtualization is the base for your entire, it is the base for your entire cloud computing. Without virtualization, cloud computing cannot be done. So the basic of the cloud computing is, the foundation is laid by the virtualization only. Before virtualization was came into the picture, whatever the cloud that you are using, that is helpful for storage purpose and simple notification services only. Okay. So whenever, so in AWS, we are having a concept called as simple notification service. SNS topic is there. So what we can do, we can integrate SNS with our websites and we can generate some notifications. Suddenly there is a sudden spike in the CPU or a sudden spike in the RAM. So automatically the users can get the call. I will tell you about this in the CloudWatch, don't worry. But anyways, this is what the scenario is all about. So before virtualization was entered into the IT world, so what is there? Only everybody will thinking, or also everybody is thinking that cloud is only for storage purpose. If you want to store huge amount of data, we can store huge amount of data in the cloud. So everybody is thinking that. But what has happened after 2010, Azure, when Azure was introducing the new virtualization concept, and the Azure is the first cloud to introduce the instances. So when the Azure is implementing that, then then AWS thought, then Amazon thought, why can't I go for the instance creation? So then from 2010 onwards, they have introduced, the phase of entire IT world has been changed by introducing these 2 clouds. One is AWS and the other one is Azure. So now So here, what I am saying here, the baseline or else the basic foundation for your entire cloud computing is your virtualization. First of all, you need to understand the virtualization. So here you can see what I want to show you here is, hold on. This is my Windows server which I am running right now. If you can see here, what are the different resources that I am having? So I am having somewhere like 16 GB of RAM is there, and some CPU of 3.50 gigahertz processor is there. Somewhere like 16 GB of RAM is there, right? So what I can do here is, let me close all these applications. We don't want this. Okay, hold on. I have, unfortunately, I have opened all this. Hold on. Sorry. Okay, done. And we have so many applications that are open. So let me close all this. Due to this, the RAM is totally occupied. Hold on. Okay, now let me check what is the size. Now it is reduced to 10 GB. Okay, that's fine. So here you are having a software called as virtual VMware Workstation Pro. So actually there are two types of virtualizations. One is what I can say, one is hosted virtualization and bare metal virtualization. First of all, you need to understand the types of virtualization, and then you can go further into the concept. Now, what I want to show you here is what is meant by bare metal virtualization and what is meant by hosted virtualization. So here, bare metal virtualization in the sense, bare metal and hosted. Okay, so here this bare metal is also known as type 1 virtualization, and hosted virtualization is also known as type 2 virtualization. Okay, don't get confused, don't get worried about the topics. Just this is an introduction only. So whenever you see this bare metal virtualization, what is this bare metal virtualization? So whenever you purchase a physical server, you only get the resources like CPU, RAM, and hard disk. So for example, this is my physical server. Just try to understand, this is my physical server. Okay, where we will have all the resources like CPU, RAM, and whatever the motherboard, everything will be there. So on this physical server, what I am going to do, actually everybody will think that on the physical server we will install an operating system. So operating systems, the only operating system is Windows and Linux, but there are several operating systems, and you can say that, of course, we know Macintosh also, Mac also, of course it is also an operating system. But apart from this, we can directly install virtualization. There are some virtualization operating systems. I can call them as an operating system only, actually. So those are, so on this physical server, directly what we can do here is we can install some virtualization operating systems. Like, I will not call them as an operating system, but for your understanding, I'm telling you this: VMware ESXi. This is one of the thing. And the next one is Citrix Gen servers, or else Citrix operating system also you can call. So these are the different types of virtualization mechanisms which will be helpful for you to host the virtualization on your servers. Now on this applications, what you can do, you can install your virtual machines. So this is my virtual machine 1. This is my VM1, and the next one is we will have another virtualization component. This is my VM2. So I'm installing 2 virtual machines. You can install as many number of virtual machines depending upon your resource capacity. For example, if at all, if you are having some somewhere like 128 GB of RAM and processor and everything, so depending upon the resource capacity, you can install as many number of virtual machines as you want. So I am showing you only 2 virtual machines. On this virtual machines, you can run your applications. So on this, what you can do, you can install the binaries. Okay, you can install the binaries, libraries for the applications, whatever the application that you want to run. You can install all the binaries here, and you can run your application app1. Okay, so this is how actually virtualization will be there. So this is called as a bare metal virtualization. Whatever the virtualization that you are looking, so this is called as a bare metal virtualization. Okay, so we are having app 2. So this is about your bare metal virtualization. There is another virtualization also. I will discuss about that within a moment. So did you understand the concept? Any questions? Any questions, any doubts in the concept wise? Don't ask me, sir, what are the class timings? So I will discuss about that in the later on part, but yeah. Any questions regarding the concept?
No, sir.
Okay. Any other questions? Any questions regarding the concept wise? Again, I'm asking you. I know that I am going, but yeah.
No, sir. Good.
Okay, fine then. So the next one is, so this is your bare metal virtualization, and the next one is hosted virtualization or type 2 virtualization. Here you will have the server here in the bare metal, sorry, in the type 2 virtualization, you will have the physical server or else your laptops or computers, anything you can say. So this is my physical server. Okay. So on the physical server, what I am going to do, I am going to install operating system like your Windows or Linux, any operating system you can install. So this is the operating system which I am installing on my physical server. So what I can say, Linux, Windows, Mac. Okay, so depending upon your laptop or else your computer or your server requirement or server, so you are installing this operating system. On the operating system, you are going to install the virtualization application. So what is the virtualization applications that you are installing on this? So there are so many different versions are there. The one is VMware Workstation. Just as of now, I have showed you that VMware Workstation. Okay, VMware Workstation, and the next one is for Linux, that is KVM, kernel-based virtual machines, or else VBox, VirtualBox. Or there are so many different types of virtualization methodologies are there, applications are there. With the help of these applications, you can create your virtual machines. You can create your virtual machines. So this is the virtual machine which we are creating. And on this virtual machines, what we can do, we can run our applications. So this is my app 1 which I am running with the binaries and all the things. Okay, so this is my app 1. Okay, and we can create another VMware, or else we can create another virtual machine, and on that mission I can run another application also, or else I can run the databases, I can run web logics, whatever I want I can run on the another virtual machine. So depending upon the user requirement, he can install his own operating system on the virtual machine. So this is my second type of virtualization, app 2. So where this virtual machines will get all the, from where the virtual machines will get all the resources. So for example, this VMware has to run. So the first virtual machine has to run. So from where it has to get the resources, the CPU and RAM. So the VMs, whatever the VMs that we have created, this VMs will get the resources from the physical server only. So for example, let me show you. There is a physical server, there is a computer or else any hardware device, physical server, just try to understand. This is a physical server which is equipped with somewhere around physical server which is having some 4 CPU and some 32 GB of RAM is there. Okay, 4 CPU and 32 GB of RAM is there, or else 64 GB of RAM is there. Okay, so this is your physical server. So we will install a VMware. We will install a software called as VMware. So inside the VMware, what we are going to do, we are going to install, or else we are going to run some servers. This is my VM1. Okay, so this is my VM2. Inside the VMware only, I am going to create some servers. This is my VM2, and I will install VM3 and VM4. From where the resources, from where these virtual machines will get the resources. The resources for these virtual machines for the VM1, VM2 and VM3, So the resources will be coming from your, what I can say, physical server. Okay, VM4. Okay, so this is my VMware. So actually, it will be very kiddish if I say this. Actually, I am trying to tell you in the technical part, but if I have to give an example, everybody will give the same example only. I am giving the same also. I am also giving the same example only. For example, if you think this is your entire family. For example, in your family, who will earn the money? Obviously, your father will earn the money. So suppose, for example, your father is earning somewhere around some 40 to 50,000, 50K is his salary, for example. So try to analyze this, try to coordinate with this technical terms. So suppose 50K. So here that 50K is equivalent to the physical server resources. Okay. And you are having 4 siblings, or else you are having 3 siblings. So you are the elder one. So you are working, or else, yeah, you are working in an environment and you don't want any pocket money. If you want, what you are going to do is few amount, somewhere like some 1,000 rupees from your father. You will ask, you will directly don't go and ask your father. You will ask your father by coordinating with the mother. So here your mother is like the VMware, whatever the VMware software that you are seeing. So who will coordinate whenever the virtual machine want any resources, any RAM, CPU. So the VMware, the virtual machine will coordinate with VMware. So the VMware will coordinate with the physical resources. So like your mother will go and ask your father and bring that money to you. So in the same manner, for example, you are having you are having an younger brother or else a younger sister. So what he or she is studying some BTech. So whenever he or she is studying some BTech, they will have so much expenses. We know that we have came from that phase only, as we know that in BTech days we are having so much of expenses. So what? So you will go and ask your father. So your brother or sister will go and ask your father some 4K per month. It is not enough, but even though she or he will ask your father some 4K rupees. So what he or she will not directly ask your father. Again, they will coordinate with the mother, and mother will ask the father and bring the money to your brother or sister. In the same manner, when whatever the requirement for the virtual machine will communicate with the VMware, and the VMware will coordinate with the physical server, depending upon the virtualization requirement. Okay, so here that is what I want to tell you. So if I have to show you in the practical manner, here you can see there is a virtualization. VMware workstation is running right now. What is my RAM utilization? My RAM utilization is somewhere like 10 GB is utilized. Now, when I turn on this virtual machine, if I power on the virtual machine, see here, slowly my RAM consumption will be increased. See here, 10.5 GB, it is slowly increasing, which means that whenever we are starting the application, or else whenever we are starting my own server. So here you can see this is my Windows 11 operating system, whatever the operating system that I am utilizing or else using to deliver the classes, that is my Windows 11 operating system. But if you see here inside the, but if you see inside my virtual machine, I am operating Windows 10. So this is my Windows 10 server, or else Windows 10 operating system. Okay. So this is one point. And if you want to run any server, you can run the same server also. So if what you can do, I will power on the VMware 2. Second virtual machine is running. So if you can see what is the CPU utilization, it has been increased to 12.8 GB. So whenever I turn on the, whenever I am running my, what I can say, Windows server, so eventually there is a growth, there is a, what I can say, the memory utilization will be increased. So who is consuming the RAM? Obviously, these virtual machines are consuming the RAM. Obviously, the virtual machines are consuming the RAM. So how they are consuming the RAM? They are coordinating with the VMware workstation, this application, and the application will be coordinating with my physical resources. So this is what happening in the backend. So here you can see the memory utilization has been raised to 15, somewhere like 15.8 GB. Maximum amount of RAM has been consumed. Here you can see the VMware, the workstation is starting. So here, with the help of this, what I want to prove here finally. So virtualization is a technology where you can run multiple missions in a single mission, optimized in an optimized condition. You can run your application. So This virtualization is the platform for your entire cloud computing. So whatever the cloud computing that you are looking into this, so entire cloud is deployed on the VMware or virtualization. I'm not telling about the only one software VMware. There is so many different types of virtualization applications are there. VMware, Citrix Gen, like that we will be having so many different types of virtualization, but these two are very popular in the market. So this is the basic for your cloud computing. Now, did you understand what is meant by virtualization? Any questions here? Any questions? Questions, guys? Any questions?
Yes, so I have one question.
Yep.
In the bare metal, if
Yeah.
the VMware,
Your voice is little low. Can you rise up your voice? I am unable to hear you.
okay, are you able to hear me now?
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah. So in bare metal,
Mhm.
if the VMware
Mhm. Yes,
ESXi fails,
Mhm.
does that mean the VM 1 and 2 both would fail, or it would?
If the entire VMware ESXi is failed, obviously the virtual machines, both the virtual machines will be failed.
Okay, so it's same as type 2 then. So if your OS fails, that means that everything
Mhm.
above it will fail as well, correct?
Obviously, if the operating
Okay.
system is failed, everything is failed. In the same manner here, if your VMware is failed, everything is failed.
So how's this in the cloud technology? I assume
Mhm.
that it will be the similar process, no?
Mhm.
It's installed in bare metal,
Mhm.
then the VM
Mhm.
is installed, and then virtual machines are created. So if the
Mhm.
underlying VM fails, all the
Mhm.
businesses on that.
But that is the beauty, right? That is the point. That is the critical situation where you have to overcome that scenario. They will so if they are installing huge number of servers on a physical server, how they don't take care of the backups, how they don't take care of the what I can say, this type of critical scenarios. Obviously, there will be a backend plan. You will come to know
Okay.
about that. Okay.
Okay.
But
Great.
anyways, this particular scenario, VMware is failing is not going to happen in your cloud operating system. If at all, if it is happening, then there will be a backup plan for them. Okay,
Okay.
so they will install about all those things in the another servers. There will be a backup plan. We will discuss about that. But anyways, so this is what happening. Just I want to share you about the virtualization. I just shared you about that, but we will discuss
Sure.
about that in the later on process. Any another
Thank you, sir.
questions? Yep. Any another questions? Okay. I hope that there are no questions. Okay, fine. Let us go for the next concept. So I hope you understand this virtualization. Now, what I am saying from the starting onwards, I am saying you that for the cloud, the basic is your virtualization. The baseline will be your virtualization. So how this cloud has helpful for the IT industry. So here you need to understand one more thing. Whatever the AWS services that you are seeing, either it might be instances, either it might be S3 buckets, either it might be databases, whatnot. Each and everything is not in the single region. Okay, so in the entire world, the whatever the cloud, whatever the AWS, Azure, GCP, whatnot. So everything has been expanded their complete resources all around the world. How they have done this? So you need to understand AWS physical infra. If you try to understand this, then you will understand the entire scenario. So what is this AWS physical infrastructure? The first thing is, so AWS or else Amazon Web Services will have regions. So what is this region? A region is a geographical location. That's it. That is the definition for a region. A region is a geographical location where you will have multiple data centers. If you understand this, that's more than enough. A region is a physical location where you will have multiple data centers, one or more number of data centers will be there. For example, what I can say, India is one of the country. So inside India, we will be having multiple states. So for example, I want to locate Infosys. Okay, Infosys is in majority number of the states. Okay, so it's an IT service company which is located in majority number of the states. So Infosys India, if they say Infosys India, nobody will understand this. But geographically, where Infosys is located in a region called as India. So for example, if there is an employee, so how that employee will be identified? He is a person from this certain from this organization or else from this branch of India. So they will say that. In the same manner, if you see here, the basic point, the basic physical infrastructure, the basic physical infrastructure is region. So a region is a geographical location where multiple data centers will be there. For example, if you go to America, so in America, we are having 4 regions: US East 1, US East 2, US West 1, and US West 2. These are the 4 different locations in America. When you come to India, in India, we are having 2 regions. One is AP South 1 and the other one is AP South 2. AP South 1 is in Mumbai, AP South 2 is in Hyderabad location. Okay. So that will be that region. AP South 1 will be covering entire North India. Okay. And AP South 2 may be covering the entire South India purpose. So when you see here, there are 2 regions where you will have multiple data centers, multiple AWS data centers. So if anybody asks you about the region, what is meant by region in AWS, you can simply say that a region is a geographical location where multiple data centers will be created, or else multiple data centers are present. Now, inside the region, again, to governance the data center, or else to manage the data center, suppose I am having some 10 data centers are there inside the region. To manage each and every data center, is it easy for me to manage all the 10 data centers under a single hand or a single person? It is very difficult for me. So for that, what I am going to do to manage the data centers, what I will do, I will divide the region into availability zones, AZs. I will divide the regions into availability zones. Each and every region will have minimum of 2 availability zones. So each and every region should have minimum of 2 AZs. Why? Because for example, in a single agent, again, you will have data centers. I will discuss about the data centers in the next class, data center architecture. In any availability zones, you will have the data centers. So inside the data centers, you will have the servers. Due to any natural calamity or else due to any, what I can say, weather conditions, for example, one availability zone is down. For example, if I have to say, in 2016, I used to work for ICIC support. Okay, I used to work for ICIC support in 2016. I don't know, maybe there are some people who are working since from 2014 onwards. So they know this scenario has happened. In 2016, Hyderabad has lost the power almost 2 days. Up to or else I can say that there is no power for 2 days. So what is happened here? The data center which is running, the primary data center of ICICI is located in Hyderabad location. So that data center has shut down due to the power loss. Of course, they have taken so many measures, but due to this power loss, unfortunately, the power supply to the data center and the generator power is also the backup. Whatever the backup power is also lost. So what we have done, we have changed, we have shifted that entire servers or else entire applications from primary data center to the backup data center. So we used to have the data center on Jaipur location. So this is how we can change. So why? So this is how the disasters will occur sometimes. I cannot say that each and every time that the primary data center will be alive. Sometimes due to these natural calamities or else power loss, or due to these situations, sometimes what is going to happen? One availability zone might be inoperable. It cannot be operated. So automatically what I have to do, I have to shift to the backup data center. So in the same manner, in each and every region, you need to have 2 availability zones. Why? So in single availability zone, if you create a server, in one availability zone, if you create a server, suddenly if the availability zone is not there, you can have your backup servers on the second availability zone. So that is the reason, at least you need to have 2 availability zones inside a region. Now, what is this availability zone? Again, coming back to the availability zone, an availability zone is a facility which can have the data centers. An availability zone is a facility which can have 1 or more data centers. Inside the availability zone, I can have a single data center or more than 1 data centers can be established. So in the pictorial manner, if I have to represent, for example, this is a region. So I can call it as US East 1. Okay, inside this US East one, what I can have multiple availability zones. So each and every availability zone must have a distance of minimum or else which will be divided not more than 100 miles. Okay, it should be in between 0 to 100 miles of distance should be there. So here I will have somewhere like this is my AZ1 and this is my AZ2. The distance between these two availability zones should not be more than 100 miles. Somewhere like when you search in the Google, it will show you some 60 miles also, 60 to 100 miles actually. So which is 100 kilometers in between two availability zones, minimum distance, or else the distance is not more than 100 kilometers. It should be lesser than the 100 kilometers. Sometimes it can be more than 100 kilometers also. Okay, so we have an availability zone in Mumbai, and as well as another availability zone is available in Kolkata, if you see. But if you compare the distance between these two availability zones, there is more than 100 kilometers is there. Sometimes it can be happening. So we can have our servers in availability zone 1 and there is another server in availability zone 2. Our backup servers can be in the availability zone 2 and there will be availability zone 3. So now if I have to define the availability zone, what I can define the availability zone? I can define the availability zone as it is a facility which can have the data centers, which can have one or more data centers. Okay, inside this availability zone, I can have one or more data centers. I will show you about the data centers in the next class, data center architecture, how data centers will be managed, and what are the different types of servers I can create inside the data center. Each and everything can be discussed in the next class. So, but as of now, this is how your physical infrastructure will be looking like. Okay, so here I can have a single data center or I can have multiple data centers. This is what a data center will be. So that's about your region, availability zones and data centers. We will discuss about the data centers in the next class. Data center architecture, inside the data center, how servers will be connected. Everything will be discussed in the next class. But if I have to give you a definition for this, so let me show you one more thing here. I just want to log into my AWS account. Okay. I will go to Mumbai location so that the areas you will understand. So this is my region, Mumbai region. Just now we have overall we are having 31 regions. Actually 30 regions when the Hyderabad the region is open, but there is one more region which is open in Sydney, I think. So overall 31 regions are there in the AWS infrastructure and 99 plus availability zones are there. Okay. So what I want to do, if you go to the EC2, inside the EC2, you can check out the regions. So in which region you are located. So see that Asia Pacific Mumbai. So add, if you want to enable additional zones, you can enable this. So see that you are having another availability zone in Kolkata. You are having another availability zone in Delhi. Like that. By default, they are disabled. And if you want to enable them, you can enable. If you are required, if you want to enable, so you can enable them. But I don't want to enable it. So this is about your availability zones. I just want to show you how availability zones will be looking like. Okay. So you can manage each and every availability zones or regions from the AWS console. Okay. So that's about your availability zone region. And tomorrow we will discuss about the data centers, how big data centers are there, how many servers I can install, and how to differentiate the servers, and what are the different types of servers are there, depending upon the form factor, how many types of servers will be there, and what is meant by network, and how we can differentiate the servers by using networking concept. Each and everything we will learn in the next class. So this is the second demo session which I am telling you. And while coming back to the course details, as I already said you that I will take the class up to 4:50. And after that, what I am going to do here, I am going to answer your questions. Before that, let me explain you about the course details. So if you want to get the syllabus, go to durgasoft.com. Okay, there you can find only AWS by Chaitanya. You can find out the syllabus over there. So here what you can do here is durgasoft.com. You go here. mm, no. Here you can see the link for all the syllabus, the entire syllabus, whatever you are expecting. You can go through that also. Okay, this is the syllabus which we are discussing. Each and every topic we will be covering on that. Okay, and the next one is this is about your syllabus. Well, coming to the course timings, the classes will be from class timings will be at evening 4 o'clock, 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. There is no change in the class timings. It might be prolonged up to I cannot say that it might be prolonged up to 5:15 also sometimes. Okay, so that's about your course duration, course timings. And the next one is what I can say, expected end date. Okay, so the course will be around, the course duration will be 45 working days, that is from Monday to Friday. Okay, Monday to Friday. And what I can say, what else I can tell you, videos. So whatever the class that we have commenced, each and every day you will get the video. So the videos will be shared. Whoever has paid the fees, the videos will be shared with them in their G drive, in the Google Drive. Okay, so the video access will be all around some 6 months to 1 year. 6 months to 1 year of video access will be there. Okay, so this is about your course content and course details. I hope you understand this. Any questions? And you will get the DURGASOFT certificate. Okay, course completion certificate. If you want to do the globalizing certification also, you can do that, but that is not included. That is not included in your, what I can say, course fees. Why? Because the certification cost itself is somewhere around 18 to 20,000. Okay, so that's about my content which I have to deliver. Any further questions? Now you can now the floor is open for you all. You can ask the questions. And the fees will be 5,000 rupees. Okay, fees also done. Yeah, now your questions.
Sir, after these 3 demo classes, suppose you're going to a demo class tomorrow 19th. By tomorrow end of the day, we suppose I paid the fees. So what when we are going to start the actual classes?
Actual classes will be, actually the classes are started.
Yeah.
You are thinking that it's a demo session, but as per my view, it is not a demo, it's normal classes only. Why? Because without these basics, you cannot understand AWS. Okay,
Understood.
so actually the classes are started, but you can consider them as demos.
However,
Okay.
you'll be going through all this once again, right? So we will consider this as an the classes as itself. But
Again, I am not going to take these same sessions. Again, I'm repeating.
okay.
Okay, what in my view, the classes are started again and again. I am not going to repeat the concepts. Why? Because the students whoever are attended to these sessions, if I repeat the same session, I don't know, some of the candidates will be going outside of the session. So what my perspective is, I don't want my student to be uncomfortable. Like I don't want my students in a situation that, Arey yaar, why again he's saying the same? I already know about this content. Why again he's saying? So that is the reason why I am going slowly, why I am going into the basics only. Okay, if I have to start the content, I can start the content starting from the VPC only. But why I am going in depth into the basics? Because there will be students who will be joining. So there will be employees who know about the IT, and as well as the videos will be available in the YouTube. Whatever the first 3 classes are there, all the videos will be available in the YouTube, and as well as whoever has attended for the demos, they can get the videos also. So it doesn't mean that our classes are not started. The meaning of this, from the first day onwards, whenever you attend for the first demo onwards, the classes are started. But these 3 demos are for your purpose, whether it is suitable for you or not, whether my training is acceptable for you or not, to make you comfortable regarding my trainings and all the things. I am making this as a demo sessions, but whatever the demo classes that you are attending, these demo classes are not repeated again and again. Why? Because in my perspective, the classes are started. Okay.
So do you have any soft materials for these discussions? Will you provide any soft material?
Soft material, see, I will give you the definitions every time. Whenever I am saying you the concept, I will provide you the definition. So it's your responsibility. I will repeat it 4 times. So if you see here, whenever I am discussing about the regions, I have discussed about regions for 4 times. So it is your responsibility to write a rough notes, to maintain a rough notes. Okay. So by looking into the video, again, I'm saying you can prepare your own material in your understandable manner. You can prepare your own material. If I give you a soft copy, you won't be understandable. You won't get the, like, see, I can use some, I can add some high English words into that, vocabulary into that. So you will not understand that. So whatever the content that I am delivering, or else whatever the practicals that I am sharing with you, work it on. First of all, do the practical. So what I am saying, understand that, and search in the original Amazon documents. No another faculty will provide great documents than Amazon provides. So simply go to, now we have completed cloud, right? So docs, or else I will go like this. Let me show you. Docs.amazon, aws.amazon.com. If you go here, you will find out each and every documentation. Like, I am not saying that you have to just today, from today onwards, you have to work on the documents. I'm not saying that. I am saying you, first of all, understand the practical. So first, what we are going to discuss, about the VPC, right? So VPC will be in the networking and content delivery. Where is it? So if you go to here, Amazon VPC, okay. So what is meant by VPC? If you go to the user guide over here, it will discuss about what is meant by Amazon VPC, the same concept. First, if you understand the practical, if you do the practical, you will understand what we are doing. And if you go through this documentation, you can relate that, whatever the practical that we have done, you can relate with this. So, and don't tell me that, sir, I am an employee, I'm working 24/7. So even I am also working 24/7. I'm taking the classes, and as well as I'm working for an organization also. But anyways, it is our responsibility. Every day to day, we have to check out, at least minimum, we have to spend 1 hour, one and a half hour for our knowledge purpose. Okay, do the practical, see the practical, and work on the documents. Okay. So there might be some differences also. You can understand that if you don't work it on that, if you only go through whatever the documents that I have provided blindly. So the next concept, whenever you go and work on the next concept, you will just follow the blind procedure. For example, if you want, I can provide the documents also. So you don't think that I don't have any documentation. So he is saying that I have the documentation ready with me, but my students has to work on that. Practically, you need to work on that. If you don't work on that practically, you will not understand anything. If you see here, there you go. So I have the documents with me ready only, but I don't provide it. So if you want, I will provide. It is not a matter of providing or not providing. It is a matter of you working out. Okay. So you have to work on the practical, you have to maintain a rough notes, and you have to look into the documents. Once you have done this collaboratively, you will understand the process. Okay. So that's the reason I am not providing the documentation. If you want, I have the documents. Okay. So anyways, try to work it out. If you are failing to working out, definitely I will provide that. When I provide that also, it won't be much greater than, much highly understandable than the documentation which they are providing. Okay. So whatever the documents that I write, I also write from the same, their perspective only. You need to understand that. I hope you understand about the documentation process. Any questions? Any another questions? Apart,
Yes, sir. I
Mhm.
have question.
Yeah.
So when going for the certification, so
Mhm.
what are the documents to be followed? These only docs AWS.
Every certified candidate will do the same. Okay. So you have to follow the documentation of AWS. That will be helpful for you. Okay. So you have to once coordinate with the practical, once do the practical and check out the documents. Both will be equal. Whatever the words that I have used, that Those words will be easy for you to understand. And if you go to the documentation, it will be a little difficult to understand the vocabulary. That's it. Nothing much more difference will be there. Okay, you can check out that also. I don't have any problem.
Okay.
Got the point?
Thank you.
Yeah. So whoever wants to do the certification, and I know you will ask me like this also. Can I do the certification, sir? Of course, you can do the certification by completing the course. It is very easy to complete the course, and you can do the certification also. So you can crack the certification cloud practitioner or cloud architect associate level also. Am I clear? Yeah. Any questions? I have 3 questions here. Notes will be provided. I think Joshna, I have given you the answer for that. By looking the videos, we can make the notes, but you can provide the resumes. Okay. Yes, I will provide the resumes. Don't worry. Okay. So whether you want the experienced resumes or else fresher resumes. And one more thing, I just want to share you, whoever are attending for the interviews, there are some rules that you have to follow. Okay. The thing is, whenever we are discussing about, whenever you got a call from the interview, what is the normal word that you will use? What is the normal word that you will use whenever the opposite person is saying? You will say okay, okay, okay. I will discuss about this in the last of your sessions. Okay, at the last day of your session, I will discuss about how to prepare the resume and how to give the answers for the interview calls. Everything will be cleared you out. Okay, I will provide you the complete details about the interview perspective. So, any further questions apart from resumes? Yeah, I hope I have given you the clarity about resumes, documents, and then all the things. And one more thing, if you, I know when I say this, I will not provide the documents. Obviously, some of the candidates who are very, very intelligent, they will ask, or else they will go to the management and say that the faculty, the trainer is not providing the documentation. So you will raise a complaint, but still I won't provide the documents. Okay. So documentation, see, it's kids thing. So you are the employees, you are the trainers, you are the trainees. So you are grown-ups. So you have to prepare your own documents. Apart from this, if you have any questions, you can ask me the questions in the next class. So you have to work on that. Once you have worked it out, and then you have to ask me. So if you have any questions, I will try to resolve it. I have done like this, but unfortunately I got this. So I will help you on that resolution part. Don't worry about that. Okay. Yep. Any
Sir, yeah. Will you be explaining the procedure in future sessions about the registration of the certification and the process to follow?
certification registration, it is pretty simple. You have to go to amazon.com, Amazon website, and you have to check out which certification you are comfortable, and you need to log into that. You have to apply for the certification, and you can write the certification from your home only. So you don't need to go to any centers. But again, telling you that certification process we will discuss once we have completed the sessions. Okay. So right now you are not going to work on the certifications, right? First of all, you need to understand the entire process. After that, we will discuss about the certification process.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah. Any questions? Okay. As of now, I can see that there are no more questions. I am terminating the session. Tomorrow we will discuss. We will start with the data center architecture, how AWS data centers will be looking like, and what will be there inside the data center, what are the different types of servers, SANs, each and everything we'll discuss in the next class. Have a nice day, and we'll meet on a session.
Thank you,
Bye,
sir.
guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.